Dum 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 dum. 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 Pressure pressing down on me, pressing down on you. Good men must fall under pressure. That brings a building down. That brings a family into people on the street. Eat it on up. Eat it on up. Ideo. Ideo. That's a K. It's the terror of knowing what this world is about. Watching some good friends scream, "Let me out!" Tomorrow, take you higher and higher to on the people on the street. I don't know this song. Hey, oh. Dum 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 dum. Alright, I just gotta get the thumbnail up for this particular video. Hello, Kristen, you're here quickly. You beat Bizarro, who I'm sure will show up, and if not, is probably at work. But Bizarro showed up when I streamed at 5 a.m. yesterday. So, at this point, my expectations of Bizarro are high. But welcome, ladies and gents, back to Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright Trilogy, specifically the Trials and Tribulations one. In the last episode, we didn't do a bunch, but we did discover that Edgeworth might be doing some false evidence, which makes sense because this takes place in the past. And we were just about to say what it was when I ended it to go get in a call with Calum because we had a meeting, but then someone didn't show up for the meeting, so we ended up watching musicals. And Fantasmic. I showed him Disney's Fantasmic as well. And he liked it. We actually filmed ourselves doing it, even though there was no reason to do that. I don't even know if he plans to upload it, but we did film it. Anywho, now let's get right back into it. Oh, and also, yesterday, me and Skylar played Power Rangers, and my ass may or may not have gotten kicked. Rumors. Scandalous rumors. The false evidence is one of those three. Hey, Godot, would you mind recapping what those three were? What did you say just now? I'm not sure I like that. As a time-traveling judge who also is every judge in this courtroom, secretly in disguise, I don't like the idea of people lying. Except for me. That wasn't me, Your Honor. It was the coffee aficionado over here that said that. This court is not in the habit of accepting false evidence, you know. Blame it on him, Your Honor. He's the one trying to slip false evidence into the court. Oh, Porter Edgeworth, you used to be dirty. Shit, fuck. But we won't let him. But we won't let him. We'll expose his evidence as the flimsy scam it really is. Yes. The false evidence in this case is... okay. So, the witness's photo, the body in the trunk, or the witness's testimony. Well, from what we had, we determined that they would be muddy if they were in the trunk. So, that could be it. What was the other two? Body in the trunk, witness's photo. So it could be this. Here, no, not this one. This one, the witness's photo. It could be this. I think it's her testimony, though. That's the one that makes the most sense to me. We got some health, fuck it. It is a no-brainer. Obviously, it is the witness that's suspicious. During his earlier testimony, the detective pointed out a crucial fact. The criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back. Now, is that testimony exactly what the witness claims to have seen?
Yeah! That's what the witness told us.
Oh, also, I'm doing slightly different voices for all the characters because they're younger now. That testimony is filled with holes. After all, the victim's coat isn't dirty at all, and it would have been really hard to fake that.
That's true.
Ah, it's not just true, it's the truth. That's what I said, Godot, you big old dingus. Stop trying to sound edgy. If there was a truly decisive witness in this case, I'm certain that boy Wonder over there would have called them in the first place. Your Honor, the defense requests to cross-examine the eyewitness. The testimony presented is so vague, but also contradictory as well. Interesting. Is this where we're gonna see Dahlia?
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, it appears that we'll need to hear from your mystery witness after all.
Shit. Sigh. You should brace yourself for the brutal truth. Huh? Your Honor, the prosecution has no intention of hiding the witness from the court. We are prepared to present our witness at any time.
Very well. Please bring forth your witness immediately.
What Mr. Edgeworth said kind of worries me. What does he mean by the brutal truth? Good question.
Now, let's proceed with the testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, please go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think I'm just gonna do the normal Edgeworth voice for a little bit, just because the one I've come up with is very similar to frickin' Mia's voice. So I'll just do Edgeworth's voice. Thank you, Your Honor. The prosecution summons the woman who saw the events of that day with her own eyes. This is it, Mia. The battle begins here. We got this, Miss Faye. Witness, what is your name and occupation to the court? I knew it! Bizarro called it too. Everyone is so silent that I can hear their hearts go pitter-patter.
When I look at you, how can I put it? You look as scrumptious as a double-double and a dozen donut holes.
Okay. Whatever, man.
I feel like I want to hurry up and hand down a verdict, just to have a whoa, Judge.
Hey now. Keep it in your mouth. Hey, not so fast. As I said before, the witness is very sensitive and delicate. I would ask that the court to please exercise care when addressing her.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. You are a true gentleman. Miss Faye, you could learn a lot from this man. If he's such a gentleman, then why did he call me a bimbo in the last episode like an asshole? But he sure doesn't act like one to me. I forgot the voice I gave her. Sir? Yes, my dear.
This is my first time, so I'm sure I'll make a lot of mistakes. Anyway, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry for all of the trouble I might have caused.
Not at all. This is no trouble at all. I'm a time-traveling judge from the future. I have all the time to waste in the world. Now then, may I please have your name and occupation?
My name is, Melissa Foster.
That's fake. Wasn't her name Dahlia something?
I'm a college student, a freshman in the literature department.
You were on the scene when the unfortunate event occurred, correct?
And you were the one who took this photo. Is that accurate? How can you be so mean?
Now, see here! What are you doing, shoving that in her face like that?
Hey! Mia's a good girl. But it's just a photograph. It's not like it's something dangerous.
Stop being mean to Mia. Next time, I'll be forced to penalize you.
Hey!
Uh-oh. I don't like the turn this has taken.
Shit. Is she staring at me? And you would be?
Huh? I'm the defense attorney. My name is Mia Faye.
Shit. I see. So you are...
Now then, young lady, could you please give us your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll do my best.
The witness's photograph.
I was using my camera to take some pictures of wild flowers. Then, I noticed there were two people standing up on the suspension bridge. Suddenly, they just started fighting. That's when I hurried and took a photo that shows the crucial moment.
No, you didn't. They were just standing there.
And right after that, I called the police.
That wasn't a crucial moment. As soon as we get into this, I'm presenting that photo. By the way, where were you standing when the incident occurred? I believe the map would be of help here.
I was standing right over here. I was standing in a beautiful field, surrounded by tall cliffs.
You know, that does look like a very elegant placement. So you took the photo from the location, eh?
I bought the camera I was using at the time, just like Mr. Edgeworth asked me to.
What a cute camera! Just like its owner. Camera added to the court record. Camera belongs to Melissa Foster. She took the witness's photo with it. And a small but powerful model this camera be. Oh, sorry. Someone on my Instagram just started a live video and I was like, what's going on? It was Jason Font from Power Rangers. Alright then, Miss Faye. Time for your cross-examination. But I warn you, make that witness cry again and you'll feel the wrath of my gavel. Judge, are you threatening violence against this woman? I am sure it's the picture. Come here. Where was it? Suddenly they started fighting. Okay. We got the hell to burn.
Objection!
There we go.
Witness. When you said you took a photo at the crucial moment, is this what you meant? All I can see in this photo are two people facing each other. You testified that you saw the two of them fighting. Normally, that's the kind of thing that we would refer to as a crucial moment. Why haven't you presented a photo like that? Well, you see... The photo we present was the only one there. But if you really wanted to capture the crucial moment, then what happened next? You must have taken a photo.
My apologies, young lady. But Miss Faye's assertion is not without a certain amount of merit.
He can certainly downplay a situation, can't he? I'm sorry. I'm a very bad girl. I used it all up. The film, I mean.
You ran out of film? Motherfucker, this is clearly a oh, wait, no. This is a film camera. Alright. Alright.
This photo was the last one. What?
Unfortunately, that is the truth. I personally examined all of the photographs that she took that day. All the other photos are of the witness herself, playing among the wildflowers.
The witness herself?
Then who took the photos? She probably had a tripod.
Well, you see, my camera has a timer feature built into it. So you took the photos of yourself?
I remember taking photos of myself too once. Back in college. Those were some wild fucking times. It's really sad that those pictures leaked online. I lost my judge license for 3 of my fake characters that I used to be a judge. It was quite unfortunate. Well, that's what you get for sending nudes to literally everybody on your contacts. Also, that's what you get for using a cowboy hat to hold your phone, but really the cowboy hat is your friend Steve. I was wasted. I thought my friend was a hat.
Please, no details.
It seems that Miss Faye's assertion was not so decisive after all.
What? Just wait a minute.
Well, if she had no film left, she couldn't very well take more pictures. Dumbass?
Miss Foster, perhaps then you could tell us about a different sort of photo. Photos of the incident that you took with your very own eyes.
Are you talking about memories, Edgeworth? You mean memories? That's not...
Shut up. Mr. Edgeworth, you're quite poetic.
Very well, then. Let's get back to the cross-examination. Let's hear your oh, shit. We didn't press any of that shit. Let's hear your thoughts on the fight that you witnessed.
Yes, sir, Mr. Judge. Boy, this girl is really a sucker for sweet talk. It looks like the other kitten in the room is the one that's getting all the attention. Yeah, it's sickening.
Oh, wait.
I was using my camera to take pictures of wildflowers. Then I noticed that...
Oh, it is the same statements. So maybe I was just wrong? Victim turned around and tried to run away, but... she only got about 10 yards. Oh, it is different statements, actually. Did we already read through these? I can press on them and stuff. Alright, well. Here we go. Well, I don't know what to do here. Let's start pressing. We haven't pressed yet.
Do you have any idea what they were fighting about? No, I have no idea. Why do you ask that? Oh, I just thought that maybe you overheard what they said. Shit. Oh no, we made her cry! I would never eavesdrop.
You eavesdropped on this whole thing and took a photo.
I've got more class than that.
That's right, Miss Faye. Don't drag the witness down to your level. The victim turned around and tried to run away. Alright. Well, clearly we need to present more evidence. Crime photo doesn't show anything. Witness photo doesn't really show anything. Victim's note, fouls that bridge, wear white scarf for identification, talk to Dahlia, tell her this time the whole truth must come out. Valerie's autopsy, stabbed with a knife in the back, died from blood loss between 4 and 5 p.m. Dusky Bridge, Looks like the bridge is actually broken. Oh, over there. Weird. Victim turned away and tried to run. Could it actually be this? Like, they couldn't have ran away. There was a frickin' hole. They would have plummeted. Sure, why not?
Objection!
Witness, your testimony is a joke. What? But I just...
Miss Faye! I thought I warned you not to make the witness cry. One short testimony and 2 bad contradictions. Oh, whoops. There's no possible excuse. You said there were 2 contradictions? It's simple. Just take a look at the diagram of the area. Yeah, the bridge is out. Her testimony puts the 2 of them, says the 2 of them were on the middle of the bridge. But if they were, and the victim had turned around and tried to run, well then, she would have hit a dead end. You said 10 yards, but she couldn't have ran even 5. Because Dusky Bridge is collapsed on that side. Ah! I was right. Look through the evidence all day and night, and then you'll know what to say to win the day. Then you can say that I was right. What does all this mean? It's very simple, Your Honor. This charming little witness told a charming little lying-ass piece of shit fib. That's all there is to it. This beautiful young lady has been lying to the court? Objection! Just a moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth.
Your Honor, allow me to personally apologize for the confusion. What do you mean?
There's one major mistake in this diagram.
What did you say? What are you referring to?
It's all because this diagram was made after the incident occurred.
Oh, jeez, I fucked up. It's a very bad old bridge.
It's a very old bridge. We couldn't find any official blueprints of it.
So you're saying...
I'm saying that even though this bridge is currently in disrepair, there's no evidence that can prove that the bridge was broken during the incident.
Wait a minute, hold up.
What about the witness photo?
Ah shit, it doesn't show that area. Alright.
That's ridiculous! You can't actually tell the condition of the bridge from this photo. I just said that, Edgeworth! I apologize to the court for not being more clear when I presented the evidence.
So is he trying to imply that their fight broke the bridge?
That guy is good. Huh? What do you mean? He planned it from the beginning. He's a genius, all right. That diagram of the bridge was his insurance policy. What? That coward!
Well then, Miss Fay, you've once again made a reckless accusation.
I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful myself.
No! This is not your fault at all!
Now then, should we go on with the trial? I'd like to establish once and for all what it was that actually happened.
Indeed. All right, young lady. May I ask you to please proceed with your testimony?
But it's so hard to go on.
We're all on your side, Miss Foster.
There's no need to worry. Just tell us what you saw. Yes, sir. Running from the crime. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. I suppose that was the only way I could make sure the body stayed hidden. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. I was only supposed to talk about what I saw.
Wait a minute, did I read one of those wrong? Witnessing such violence must have been difficult.
Yes, sir. I'm still shaken up. If he accepts this testimony as it is, we're finished. Don't say that. Oh well. Maybe I'll stop off at my favorite cafe on the way home. They make a really great mocha latte. This trial isn't over yet. That's what I like to hear. All right, Miss Fay?
Oh, fuck. All right, Miss Fay. Your cross-examination, if you please. Sorry, that was my female judge character, Miss Lawinda. Of course, my name is Biscuit. And, the other judge's name is, but don't worry about that.
The contradiction is staring right in the face, Mia. Go on the attack. I'm pretty sure... One of those things I said I instead of you. Like, I think it was about
hiding the body. Maybe I just fucked up the grammar. I want to check that, just because I absentmindedly just kept reading, but he couldn't just leave the body there. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. He couldn't just leave the body there. I suppose that was the only way he could have... Okay. Here, I said I could have made sure the body stayed hidden. So, I fucked up. I thought she fucked up. Then he carried her over to the car. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Are you saying that the victim didn't fall on the bridge? Actually, Of course she didn't fall down on the bridge. If she had fallen down, this photo wouldn't make any sense. If that was the case, her coat would have been all muddy. But she... What? So the victim got off of the bridge before... None of this makes sense.
Objection!
If you don't mind, I was asking the witness.
No need to be so rude. Well, young lady...
Of course she didn't fall down. The man in the prison uniform grabbed her before she could.
We're one step too slow. And then what did the defendant do after that? Then he carried her over to the car.
You personally witnessed this? Yes. Did anything strange happen when he did that? Well, I don't know if you'd call it strange or not. But that's when the victim's scarf fell off.
You mean this scarf? Her words match what we found at the scene of the crime. I don't see any problem.
I suppose that was the only way he could have...
That's not true. If you look here, there were multiple ways he could have hit the body. The biggest of which is he could have just thrown her off the bridge. In fact, I feel like it would have been easier to throw her off the bridge. Though I don't know if that would be a contradiction.
You mean the defendant carried the body all by himself? Yes.
Considering the size of the defendant, I don't think it would be that difficult.
Yes. Let's remember they were on a narrow bridge that was ready to collapse. Is it even possible for him to have carried a dead body on a bridge like that?
Objection!
Well, the fact of the matter is that he did. That kind of talk is just silly. Wow. Why did he get all emotional so of a sudden?
Miss Faye, you think there's some possibility? Please share it with the rest of us. That's interesting. Maybe that does mean that something needs to be pressed there. There was a lot of dialogue after that. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge.
Why do you say that? It's already a broken down bridge, hidden away in the mountains. Doing anything more to hide the corpse would be going overboard, wouldn't it? Yes, but that mountain is famous among hikers. A surprising number of people go up there. But it's February, right? And it was raining that day, correct?
Wait a minute, it was raining. Why were you up there?
There was also a small temple and a
Channeling dojo there. That feels like a nice little reference to Maya.
You know, those monks, they just love the cold, isolated places.
I think the witness is trying to say that the corpse could have been spotted at any time. Besides, the witness is merely reporting what she witnessed with her own eyes.
I'm sorry, I was only supposed to talk about what I saw.
Let's just press everything. This is the last one.
And you're absolutely certain that it was my client who was carrying the body? Well, he was wearing a prisoner's uniform, but as for his face...
So you're saying you don't get a clear look at his face?
Well, they were far away, and it was raining. I thought I was the only supposed to say exactly what I saw.
Excellent. You are a remarkably honest woman.
Something about this testimony bothers me, but what?
Hey, kidden. Have you ever put salt in your coffee? What? No, why would I? Why not?
Huh?
It may actually go better with coffee than sugar, right?
Huh?
Listen, my point is, if you're not sure, you might as well add a ton of salt to it. It might bring out the rust in something, like a piece of evidence.
He's right, Mia.
Go present something. You've got nothing to lose. By the way, I wouldn't put salt in my coffee. The two don't go well together after all. But you have tried it, mister. The only thing I was weirded out about was this. And even with this is the only thing I thought fit, and we, like, just used that. It was raining, maybe the camera wouldn't work? Now, cameras work in the rain, Kneale. Yeah, this is all I got.
Objection!
Oh, good. Music stopped.
A killer not wanting his victim to be found, I can understand that. However, the idea of moving the body for that purpose is clearly odd. There was a much easier way to make sure the body was not found.
Well, what is it?
Take another look at this map of the area, and you'll see how.
Yeah, he could have just dumped her.
There's a river right below the bridge. Earlier, Mr. Edgeworth pointed out something interesting about this river.
For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall in there are never recovered. At Edgeworth, have multiple bodies fallen in that river?
In the kidnapping case 5 years ago, the victim's body was carried away and never found. If 10 murders were to occur at the same spot above the Eagle River, you can bet your boots that every other killer would have just tossed a body in the water.
Order! 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 I'm not sure if I care for the way you put that, Miss Faye. But I must admit, it does seem odd not to have thrown the body into the river.
Oh.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth.
How sad. Perhaps Miss Faye would do well to try taking a dip in the river herself. After all,
You claim to be such an expert in the ways of nature. What are you talking about? My point is, no matter how odd you may find the killer's methods of disposal, the fact is that this is what the killer did. None of your arguments have anything to do with what the witness saw. That is quite true. Miss Faye, it seems that your assertion is without merit at all. We're getting nowhere with this shit.
Objection!
But what the witness claims to have seen is totally ridiculous.
Objection!
Surely you can't deny that the body was found in the trunk of the car. That's certainly consistent with what the witness has told us. Please, witness, go on with your testimony.
I'll try.
All you have to do is tell us what you saw. Otherwise, the mean lady might yell at you again. Who is he talking about?
All right. I'll do my best. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. The killer broke into the trunk and stole the car and hid the body in there.
Did I read that right? The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. Okay. He couldn't leave the body on top of the bridge. Okay. So, The killer broke in... this is new. The killer broke in... Yeah, I think I know. I'm not sure, though. I think it's this. Again. Even though it's been 3 times in a row. You see that, like, land thing? She couldn't have seen the car. It's in the way. I don't know, I'm not super confident about that one. I mean, it could also be... It could also be poking at this, and because she mentions that it was raining and stuff here, if you press this, so maybe it's using the camera here. I don't know, we'll try both. Let's just start from the left. Oh, got something right.
Well, Miss Foster, it looks like you've done it this time. Huh? Done what?
You made a crucial mistake. A crucial mistake? Like what, Miss Faye?
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. You say you saw that, right? With your own eyes? Hey, Bizarro, welcome back. Yes, Delilah's here, but her name is Melissa, and I don't understand it yet. She's using an alias for some reason. Yes, and?
By the way, Bizarro, good on you. You've predicted a lot of this specific case.
It's simple, Miss Foster. Take a look at the diagram. The place you claim to have taken the photo from, on that day, it would have been impossible, you dumb shit.
Do you see what I mean? Even if you tried to see the car, you can't, because there's a fucking mountain there, you parasol-holding, white-wearing, stupid girl with red hair, who is probably going to kill Phoenix at some point, because Phoenix ended up getting her arrested. But who gives a shit? This outcropping of rocks is directly in the way. Ah! You're gonna eat those butterflies one day, aren't you? That's right, Miss Foster. From where you were standing, you could not have possibly seen the killer's car. Ah! I admit that that diagram shows a large outcropping of rocks, but she could have heard it. However, it isn't so tall that it would stop her from seeing the car.
That's right. It's not that high at all. I was able to see his car just fine. I'm so sorry, but that just doesn't wash. Shit, fuck. I believe it was the witness who presented this evidence to the court, yes? This is the location that the photo was taken from. Your own photo tells the whole story. You can clearly see the left side of the bridge. But the outcropping that is being referred to is really more like a cliff. Ah! Your view should have been completely cut off by this cliff. But still, you claim to have been able to see the killer's car? No!
Order! Order in the court! What is the meaning of this? Ballyhoo! Bolly? Ballyhoo? Your Honor, what the fuck is ballyhoo? Also, don't jump to any hasty conclusions. The fact of the matter is the escapee fled in a stolen car, and it was reported on the news. After witnessing a murder, I'm sure you can appreciate that the witness was very upset. She must have heard about the stolen car and convinced herself that she saw it. You know what I would have done if I were lying in this situation? I would have just said I heard the car and I heard like a window break so that he could break into it.
Objection!
But she was reportedly warned before her testimony. She was told to testify only about what she saw with her own eyes.
Mr. Judge?
What is it?
I think I must have remembered things wrong.
Hold it!
Hey, wait a minute.
You can't just say that.
Miss Faye, no one on the face of the planet is perfect.
Yes, indeed, that is quite true. You know what they say. To err is human, to forgive, divine. I'm inclined to give the benefit to the witness.
What? That isn't fair!
Save the tears for later, kidden.
Mr. Armando.
Don't look back until the trial is over. Now is the time for going forward.
But that wasn't fair.
Okay, kidden. You need to relax. Then you need to remember the other kidden's testimony.
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there.
So tell me, how did she know that? How did she know that that he broke into the trunk? Well, Miss Foster? Well, Miss Foster, until you can explain how you knew that, you're going to have a lot of very suspicious people on this side of the courtroom. Well, witness?
Well, I'm certain that he broke into the trunk. Because there were marks left on the trunk lid.
How did you see the trunk?
I'm certain they were scratch marks from when he broke into it.
What? Let me see that photo. There were scratch marks. I saw them. It's true. These certainly look like scratch marks around the keyhole. It's obvious that this trunk has been broken open. Well, Miss Faye, are you satisfied?
The judge is on her side. I can't make any mistakes here. What she just said. Is there a contradiction in there somewhere?
I mean... No. Well, yes, actually. Yes, there is a contradiction. Because, you know, how would she have saw that?
Melissa Foster?
It looks like you finally betrayed yourself.
What?
You said where you were in the field taking photos of wildflowers.
But even so, you knew about the scratches. The question is, when did you get a chance to see those scratches? Finally. I finally got her.
I'm getting pretty tired of waiting over here. Then perhaps it would be faster if Miss Faye explained herself. Maybe she is magic. Maybe she can teleport and walk through walls and disappear and fly. 'Cause she's much more unique than the other guy. Your Honor, there is only one possible explanation. The reason the witness has seen the scratches was she happened to be passing by. She put the corpse in herself. She is the owner of the car. Well, I don't think she's the owner of the car. Wasn't the victim the owner of the car? It's gotta be this, but this feels like it's gonna really hurt if we get it wrong.
There's only one way that the witness had the chance to see those scratches.
Yes? What is it?
Naturally. When she opened the trunk and stuffed the corpse in herself.
Shit. The person who really hid the body in the trunk of that car was...
Melissa Foster. It was you that did it, wasn't it? That's ridiculous. I could never. It was the man in the prison garb. He's the one that... I don't think so, Miss Foster. If Mr. Fowles had been the one who put the corpse on the truck, he would have simply used the car key. There was no need to break it. But he stole the car. He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light. Which means that the key would have still been in the ignition. I see. Thank you for telling us about the scratches, Miss Foster. Without that, we never would have uncovered the truth. That it couldn't have been Mr. Fowles that put the body in the trunk. No! Preposterous! To even suggest that the witness put the body in there.
If that were true, then how do you explain the photo that she took? The corpse could only have been put in the trunk when the incident occurred. And we already know that at the time that she was taking photographs. Now is your chance, Mia. Finish this thing. On the contrary, I'm not so certain about that anymore, Mr. Edgeworth. There's no need to think too deeply about it. What I'm saying is the shutter for this may not have been pushed by Miss Foster herself. The shutter? What? Well, the camera clearly has a tripod and a timer, right? So she didn't take the picture herself. Take that! Let's take another look at this camera and see what features it has, shall we? It has a timer built into it, even in a mini tripod. Why, it's almost as if she had brought this camera just to take this picture. What are you trying to say then, Miss Faye? What, when the crime occurred, Miss Foster wasn't in the field, as she claimed? Well, if she really did use the camera's auto timer, then the answer is yes. She was somewhere else. Exactly. She was not in the field. Would the defense please explain further? Listen, this point is crucial. Where was Miss Foster when the incident occurred? In answering that question, will also make clear Miss Foster's true identity. What? Oh. Does Armando know that she's Dahlia? Like that her real name is Dahlia? Well then, please answer this question. Where was Melissa Foster when the incident happened? She would have had to been behind the victim, right? Like, if she's the killer, she would have had to been, like, back here. Yeah. Right here. Naturally, the witness was right here. But that's where the victim, Miss Hawthorne, was standing. Order! Miss Faye, what on earth? Your Honor, if I may. After parting with the victim on the bridge, the defendant fled by car. But this would mean that there's no time to put the victim in the trunk. In other words, if someone put the body in the trunk, it could have been done before the defendant met the victim.
Objection!
How asinine. Of course Mr. Fowles met with the victim. The only person with the opportunity to take part in this is... Fuck. The only person with the opportunity to put the victim in the trunk is the same man that killed her, Terry Fowles.
Objection!
You still don't understand, do you, Mr. Edgeworth?
By the time the witness's photos was taken, the victim was already dead. The person in the photo was not Valerie Hawthorne.
Objection!
What? I've never heard anything more ridiculous in my entire life. Then who exactly is the victim in this photo?
It's obvious, isn't it? It's your own witness.
What?
It's the only possible explanation. The woman that Mr. Fowles met on the bridge that day was not Valerie Hawthorne. It was you, Melissa Foster. But, me?
I find it interesting that Mia figured that out on her own without me even being there.
Let's remember that it was raining and foggy on the mountain that day.
Okay, so it makes sense that he wouldn't have realized it was her.
Mr. Fowles himself believed that the woman in front of him was Valerie Hawthorne.
Objection!
But the defendant knew Valerie Hawthorne very well. After all, she was the woman whose testimony helped him get him convicted.
Objection!
But since then, my client has spent hard 5 years in penitentiary. He couldn't remember exactly what she looked like anymore. You are just making this up as you go along. Where's your proof? I've got it all right here. This piece of evidence will blow this case wide open. At the time of the incident, Mr. Fowles had forgotten what Valerie Hawthorne looked like. Oh, that's why she had to wear the scarf. That way she would be recognized.
Take that!
Remember, it was in that one thing we read.
Mr. Fowles had forgotten the victim's face. That's why he needed some piece of identification, namely this muddy scarf. It was Mr. Fowles who requested that she wear this scarf to identify herself. That's already been proven by the note to the victim. In other words, as long as you were wearing the scarf, like he asked, anyone could have pretended to be Valerie Hawthorne. Well, what do you have to say to that, Melissa Foster? If that is your real name, which it isn't, because your real name is Dahlia, and we remembered it was Dahlia, because you were in one of the previous cases, Dahlia, so I know that you're Dahlia, so why don't you pony up and say that your name is Dahlia? Gaga. No! Oh, she fainted.
Edgeworth, grab her wallet. I'm taking her pretty umbrella. It will now be mine. Where is Miss Foster?
She's collecting herself in the lobby. It's obvious that Melissa Foster did it. She hid the body in the trunk and disguised herself as the victim. She set up the camera to snap a fake photo of them, too. The only question is, why did she do it? Well, isn't that obvious? She's the real culprit.
Well, we'll have to wait for Miss Foster to compose herself before we start again. Until then, this court is in a recess. The defense and the prosecution are both to wait in their respective lobbies.
Yes, Your Honor.
Understood. Very well, this court is in recess.
To be continued.
Right now. February 16th, 1:14 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 4. Mr. Fowles, I'm sorry.
I want to say thanks. You're really good. You really hooked me up.
Thanks. We're almost there once I prove that she committed the crime. Yeah. But there's one more obstacle we've got to get past. Like, I think this pose right here, more than anything, proves that he's Godot. An obstacle? Yeah. Motive. Why would Melissa Foster kill that policewoman anyway? Or maybe he's like Godot's sibling? Maybe her brother or something? Motive, huh? I do notice that he's got white hair, like, he's got brown hair and Godot has white hair. But I think it's Godot. Godot even has that piercing, right? Motive, huh? Anyway, we're still badly in need of information. Information, right. What we need the most is info about this Melissa Foster herself. All we know is that she's a student studying literature. And one more thing. What is it? Well, the incident that happened 5 years ago, of course. The kidnapping and murder case that Zebra Boy is on death row for. I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lie. Mr. Fowles, in that case, tell us more about it. About what happened 5 years ago. Open your eyes while I'm talking to you. That's very rude. Closing your eyes like that, that's... Open your eyes. Stop it. Stop it. You're so rude.
Oh, okay. I trust you. That day, 5 years ago, I dream of it every day. This picture, it reminds me everything. Bridge looks the same, just like then, 5 years ago. Like it could all fall apart. Fall apart at any minute. So it's been broken like that for almost 5 years. Sorry, buddy. But you sound like the one that could fall apart at any minute. Wait, I never even acknowledged that. That means Godot, before becoming a prosecutor, was actually a defense attorney. He was a lawyer himself. True. But I did kidnap her. 5 years ago, I kidnapped my girlfriend, Dahlia Hawthorne? Dahlia's last name was Hawthorne? Hold up. I just want to confirm that. Yeah. Oh. They're sisters, I think. They're sisters. They're sisters. They're related, people. Oh, okay. Your girlfriend, huh? Wait a minute. 5 years ago. You're 25, so you would have been 20. But she would have been 14! You were dating a 14-year-old? I mean, no, that is not legal age. That's icky. I usually excuse a lot of the stuff in this game because, you know, Japanese culture is different from American culture. But 14 and 20, I don't know about that. That's sketchy to me. That's 6 years. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know Japan. Hold on there. Did you say Hawthorne? Oh, Devin Henry, welcome to the chat. The victim's last name.
Dahlia Hawthorne, Valerie's little sister.
But what? Are you serious?
She was 14!
The girl. The girl. Let her go.
Yeah, clearly here that's a little girl. Shut up. Come closer and I'll kill her.
Sorry. But you're not going to get the chance.
Yeah, that is a little girl. None of this is okay.
The detective back then was Valerie Hawthorne. At first, I thought shooting someone for kidnapping was crossing the line, but if it was to protect her little sister, I can understand why she did it. Oh, Mia! You're thinking about Maya.
Okay, so according to Bizarro, in Japan, that is actually the age of consent. But even then, he still kidnapped her. So, but this game takes place in America, doesn't it? I don't know, it's fantasy, and they're not doing anything creepy, so I should just let it go.
But why did Dahlia kill her sister, then?
I think that's what we gotta figure out, Bizarro. Wrong! No! Protect sister! Valerie betrayed me! Betrayed us!
What do you mean she betrayed you?
Everything! All lies! All make-believe! Kidnapping, too.
A make-believe kidnapping?
Dahlia, my girlfriend. My love. My teen angel. Okay, I don't like that.
Did he actually say teen angel? He's seen one too many soap operas.
I do anything she says. Anything Dahlia says.
Anything Dahlia says? Hold on 1 minute. What are you saying? Is that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by...
Yeah. Me and Dahlia. And Valerie, too.
So wait, Dahlia was the mastermind here? Valerie was in on it.
Dahlia's family rich. Jewelry business. We get one jewel, that's what we want. Me and Dahlia wrote kidnap note. We sent to her dad. Asked for 2 million diamond. Tell him make exchange on Dusky Bridge. We tell him Valerie make transfer, cause she knew detective.
Having a police detective in your pocket. It's a useful thing, alright. In the end, you were planning on spitting the 2 million 3 ways, huh?
Yeah, but that woman... That woman, Valerie, she do it for real. She shoot me for real. And Dahlia... I was shot in the arm. Dahlia, she jumped in the river.
Dahlia jumped in the river? Jump. You don't mean she jumped on purpose, do you?
I couldn't do it. I could never push her. Anyway, I blacked out. Wake up in the police all over. And that's when they decided to give you the death sentence. I couldn't believe it. That woman, she betrayed me. Bizarro comments, does it take place in America? And again, even if it was in Japan, there are still rules on dating someone that young, and they still can't cough around you. Full around cough. Only can get with someone their age. I mean, I think I'm reading too far into a fantasy story with fictional characters. But it is weird that they include the age and then have all these things. Oh, Dahlia Hawthorne, deceased. Valerie's younger sister of the kidnapped murder at Dusky Bridge 5 years ago. But she's not actually deceased at all. She's this one. I couldn't believe it. That woman, she betrayed me.
That man, Terry Fowles, killed her. He threw her off the bridge. He threw my beloved sister into the roaring river 40 feet below.
So, what does this mean? These 5 years, I wonder, all I wonder is why? Why did she lie? That's all I want to know. So that's what you called her. Why you called her? You wanted to know the truth from Valerie herself. Yeah, but I forget what she looked like. So I tell her to wear a scarf. And I don't want to hurt her. I just ask why. Why did you lie? Why did you betray me? I just want her to answer. To come from her mouth, that's all.
Aw. This guy really is just... Like, he was trying to help out somebody he really cared about and get some money.
Obviously, they went about it in illegal ways, and I have questions about the relationship in general. But
he was really just trying to help. He was misguided, and it led him down a dark road. This guy's actually very sad. So, that's why. That's why you made a crazy escape like that.
Just one thing, Zebra Boy. My senses are tingling all over. Tell me, Mr. Fowles, where is it? Huh?
Where is what?
The diamond they were gonna steal. Come on now, kitten. The ransom. The $2 million diamond. That's an interesting way to display a diamond. This is the last one I will read out loud pertaining to the age stuff. Bizarro wants everyone to know his knowledge on Japanese law could be incorrect. But again, it's just fantasy, so probably thinking too much into it. Yeah, we just gotta let it go. It's just a little weird that they keep making the ages so low. It's just a little weird. I don't know.
Huh? You don't know?
No, really, I don't. It's gone with Dahlia. So Dahlia has the diamond.
With Dahlia?
That day on the bridge. Dahlia put it in backpack. Okay, so she obviously jumped to escape with the diamond. But that way she wouldn't have to split it with anybody. But why? Why would she... How did she know she'd survive the fall? Into Eagle River.
It disappeared with Dahlia, huh? Wait a minute.
You can come back into the courtroom now. We're about ready to go.
Mr. Faust, just one more question. When you said with Dahlia, do you mean the diamond is still missing?
Along with the body of Dahlia Hawthorne? Never found her, my sweet Dahlia. So this shit is very important. Talk to Dahlia, tell her this time the whole truth must come out. Obviously the victim was going to meet with Dahlia. And the whole truth is what we literally just heard.
They never found her.
Swallowed by the river. Gone. Dahlia, my teen angel. Your teen angel? How old was she anyway? Thank you, Godot. Just 14. 14? I guess you were robbing cradles before diamonds. The game is drawing attention to it. Even the game knows this was a weird choice. She plans a fake kidnapping and disappears into the river with a rock worth $2 million. Oh man, angels these days.
Faust takes the fall and gets a one-way ticket to death row. Is Dahlia Hawthorne angel, or is she really a...
It's time, kidden. It looks like we have a few more aces up our sleeves now. You bet. At least the game acknowledged it was weird. So, now we can move past this. Diamond added to the court record. Diamond, a $2 million gem used as ransom for Dahlia, lost to Eagle River 5 years ago. The training wheels come off now, Mia. You've got to strike while the iron is hot. That's one of the rules. Remember it. One of my rules. Remember it. Just in case you weren't aware, I'm Godot. February 16th, 11:49 p.m. District Courtroom Number 4. Now then, let's continue with the trial of a Mr. Terry Fowles. Witness, are you feeling better?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll try my best.
The butterflies are back. You are a brave lady.
Not this again.
I can understand a defense lawyer. Oh, fuck. I can understand a defense lawyer wanting to get her client off the hook. However, to try and pin the crime on this innocent student is... What are you talking about? My witness is not the person on trial here. Bystander who witnessed a violent crime. That's all. What possible reason would a girl like this have for murdering a policewoman? It's certainly hard to imagine this woman has a murderer. Her motive. Her motive, huh? I figure that's what I'd have to establish next. Well, Miss Faye, do you have any evidence of a motive? Well, let's just put together what we know. I think we've cracked this open. So, if I can paint a picture of what I think happened. The victim was having second thoughts and wanted to expose Dahlia. Dahlia faked her death, and I guess the victim knew about it.
So she was gonna tell everybody. So Dahlia had to kill her and prevent that from happening. But Dahlia can't just commit murder and get away with it, so she framed our guy. I'm not sure though. And what happened the 5 years ago murder had to be, it had to be Dahlia faking her death. Because that's her. We know that's Dahlia. Well, Miss Faye, do you have any evidence of a motive?
Yes, of course. I think.
You're still acting as tame as a kitten.
Mr. Armando,
Listen, a lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. Smiling on the outside, while your guts twist into knots, is the mark of a pro. It's also the mark of somebody who has really screwed up insides. But, nonetheless, a pro of having screwed up insides. That could be you.
maybe so.
But I wish you would quit grinning at me like that.
Excuse me. May I speak, Mr. Judge?
Of course. Mr. Judge is ready anytime you like.
Judge, don't do that. That's creepy. I'd like to say something. Some people here are suspicious of me, right? That's why I at least wanted you, Mr. Judge, to know that it's not true.
I see. You're such an honest and upstanding young lady. Judge, shut up. You're getting in my way. It looks like this witness is a real professional.
What does...
Bizarro is right. With all that coffee, Godot probably has his insides screwed up. Okay, so Dahlia fakes her death, sister got cold feet, wanted to confess after some time, and Dahlia kills sister and blames it on the perv. Starting to come together. Yeah, I think we figured this out, Bizarro. I came to the same conclusion.
What do you mean?
Look at that 100-watt smile. Just when things are dark for her, click, she lights right up. But we have to... Wait. If we're gonna get our client off, we have to prove this is Dahlia. And I don't think Mia has figured that out yet. Well, very well then. Let's hear what the witness has to say. Melissa Foster's history.
I was out of the country until about a year ago.
The year before last, actually.
Until I entered college. I had never even been to Eagle Mountain before. And I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt a police officer. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago. Or kidnapping a poor girl. I just think the defendant is a terrible, horrible monster.
Out of the country, eh? Precisely. Furthermore, she has no possible motive for committing the murder. Indeed. Oh, my phone's dying. You're up to bat, kitten. Sharpen those claws and put on your best belt. I mean, smile. Why did I say belt? I was literally reading it, and for some reason I thought that said belt, but it clearly says smile. What the fuck is wrong with me? Can you tell I graduated?
You bet. Somehow, I have to tie her to this case.
Melissa Foster's history.
'Cause your history is a mystery when you are
A kid who faked her own death. Because why not? Why wouldn't she do that? I was out of the country. Okay, let's press this. So, what country were you living in then?
We were all living abroad, but after my parents were killed...
What? That's already a little weird. It was a brutal civil war. She had to try to make her way back home alone.
I lost everything. I didn't even have any personal identification.
Wait. Her parents? What? She lost her identity for a little bit? What? This story keeps getting deeper and deeper. Okay, so...
What kind of sob story is this? What do I do?
Should I press on her for more details? Sure. Press harder. Witness, answer my question. I'll even repeat it for you. What country were you in? Your Honor, this line of questioning is childish. What country she was in, and how many languages she may speak, are irrelevant here. What we're here to evaluate is whether this witness has any connection to this case.
I lived abroad ever since I was a little girl.
Why doesn't she want to talk about it, though? That's sketchy.
That's why I could never have done what Mr. Fowles or... known Mr. Fowles or the detective.
Yes, I think we've established that point. Indeed. Well then, shall we add what you've just stated to your official testimony? Oh, I guess it was still useful.
Yes, please, Mr. Judge.
Naturally, I didn't know either the victim or the defendant. Well, already? Holy shit! Oh, wait. She's still saying her name is Melissa. So that shit ain't gonna fly. Alright. Let's press the next thing. I guess we had to come back to this after we prove she's Dahlia. So what made you decide to go to Eagle Mountain anyway?
I just love being outdoors, picnicking, hiking, you know, that sort of thing.
You don't look like much of a hiker to me, but you do look like a digger of sorts. I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but she is, because she stole a diamond. But Eagle Mountain is a 2-hour drive from here. Trains run through there. There are plenty of mountains that are closer and easier to get to.
Well, I went there once with a college trip on the hiking club. I fell in love with its stark, desolate beauty and its cold yet romantic gloominess.
Didn't know you were such a goth. Dang, man. Shade. Okay, yeah, Bizarro's right. She's saying that so that she can't prove her name is Melissa or whatever she's saying it is.
By the way, what's the name of your college? The prosecution objects to any question that involves the witness's private life. All that matters is that she is a material witness to a crime. The witness does not need to respond to questions that are clearly malicious in intent. Thank you. She's really gone too far. She was just asking what college you go to. That way she could check and see if there was a trap. Hello, Kristen. Miss Faye, you're treading on thin ice here. We're still in the past, yep. I hardly said anything. Talk about sensitive. And I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt the police officer. Perhaps, but your behavior that day was very suspicious. And we've already proven she's lied a couple times. And then she fainted. She couldn't justify any of it. Edgeworth just sort of brushed it off. Not only have you contradicted yourself here in the court, but you know things you shouldn't. For example, the scratches on the trunk of the car. But that's...
Objection!
Unfortunately, Miss Faye, your last statement proves nothing. Really? And why is that? The witness came to the police station once to identify the suspect. It's entirely possible that the time an officer showed her a photo of this. Oh, gosh darn it, police officers. We had such a good thing going here. That seems like a rather serious mistake. That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. In the prosecutor's book. That's not fair. That wicked inmate. I'll never be able to forget that horrible day. Holding a grudge and killing an officer who testified against him 4 years ago. A grudge? Well, the policewoman's testimony was crucial, wasn't it? Crucial in getting the defendant sentenced to death. Yes, and that's precisely why he harbored such deep anger against her. So much anger that he forgot his own guilt.
Objection!
My client has always maintained that he's innocent of those charges. He seems rather forgetful. Your client, I mean. Not only did he forget about what he did, but he forgot about the poor policewoman as well. What do you mean by that? Your client, he forgot what the detective looked like, right? It's too bad for her that he didn't forget what her testimony as well. Well, she's right about that. Mr. Fowles is kind of forgetful. Press harder! You said he forgot what the detective looked like. What did you mean by that? Well, he couldn't tell who she was without some kind of identification, right? There are always butterflies around her, Kristen. That's been the question for a while now. Quite right. That's why the victim was wearing a scarf as identification. Why, if I had been wearing a scarf that day, then he probably would have tried to kill me. That's true, he's clearly a bitter man. This is bad. Mr. Fowl's reputation just keeps getting worse and worse. Sometimes it's best not to poke too deep. What should I do with the last statement? Have it added to the testimony. Leave it alone? Let's go with this. I don't think this has ever been brought up before. Your Honor, what the witness had just said now was tremendously important. Really? I'd like it added to the official testimony. The prosecution has no objection. After all, the defendant is a killer and mentally unbalanced one at that. That testimony only helps further that point. No, that's not why. Enough. Witness, if you would. My pleasure, Mr. Judge. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf. Well, we got two things now. Well... This doesn't... But this isn't a white scarf. It's blue. But, of course, we already came to the conclusion she didn't have a white scarf. But wait a minute! How would she know that? Because we know it's a blue scarf, but... Okay, so we've read the paper. We know about the white scarf. But she doesn't, does she? I don't... I'm pressing. Witness, I want you to look at this photo you took. It's hard to see in this photo, but look at the scarf the victim wore as identification. Ah, you're talking about this scarf right here, eh? Yes, that one. The scarf the policewoman was wearing. I've got her now. Just don't mess up. But that's strange. In your testimony, you stated the following. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf. White? This is the scarf you identified as belonging to the victim. But it certainly doesn't look white to me. Yeah, didn't we determine this already? Well, it was foggy that day, and it was raining as well. It's not surprising that she mistook it for white.
Objection!
Sorry, but not this time.
The witness just confirmed that this was the victim's scarf. Yes, but what's the significance? It's true that the scarf doesn't look white, but there's only one explanation for this mix-up. The reason why the witness thought the scarf was white is, she read the victim's note, right?
Take that!
Yeah, okay, I was on the right track.
Witness, have you ever seen this note? Note? No, never.
It's top secret evidence. There's no reason that you would have.
I wonder about that. What do you mean?
This note shows Mr. Fowl's instructions to the victim regarding their meeting. It says wear a white scarf for identification. White scarf! Ah! Witness, you knew what this note said. And it's because you knew that you slipped up and mistakenly said white scarf. I dared. Well, Miss Foster. No!
Order, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm waiting for an explanation.
I'm quite sure this note wasn't leaked to the public. And yet, this witness knows exactly what the note said. At the time of the murder, the number of people that knew were quite limited. Terry Fowles is one. The person who wrote the note, Valerie Hawthorne, is another. And finally, one more person.
Did you say one more person?
That's right. A person that no one would have suspected. Dahlia. Have you figured it out, kitten? Yes. The third person that knew the contents of the note was... Dahlia. And that person is Dahlia Hawthorne.
Dahlia Hawthorne? I've never heard that name before.
Look at the victim's note. This is what it says. Talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time. There is her name. Right there.
What's this? So who is this person? This Dahlia?
Miss Faye must be desperate if she's trying to bring back the dead.
The dead?
Dahlia Hawthorne was the victim's deceased youngest sister. She was killed in a crime 5 years ago.
Killed in a crime? You don't mean?
Yes, she was kidnapped and killed by Terry Fowles.
Objection!
You said she was killed, but was she really? What are you implying? Of course, people who thought she had died 5 years ago. Well, she's off of Dusky Bridge and lost in the Eagle River. However, her corpse was never found.
Objection!
She was declared legally dead 5 years ago. As long as the law is concerned, Dahlia Hawthorne is officially dead.
Objection!
But the fact remains that her body was never recovered. Dahlia Hawthorne was 14 years old 5 years ago. If she were still alive, she would be 19 now. Melissa Foster, I believe that's the same age as, well, you.
Objection!
Even you couldn't miss Faye. You're not saying. But I am. That's precisely what I'm saying. This witness before us is the girl that was kidnapped and killed 5 years ago. Is in fact Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Nice work.
That was tossing a grenade into a 3-alarm fire. But unless you can tie all the loose ends together, you're nothing but a hit and run arsonist. I understand. if I can expose her true nature, I can turn this whole case on its head. Now is my chance to make Mr. Edgeworth squirm.
Witness! Just who are you anyway?
I didn't think it'd come to this. That's enough. You don't have to say any more, witness.
Yes, I understand.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, explain yourself.
Your Honor, I have an admission to make. I honestly never thought the defense would pursue the matter this far.
You don't mean?
Yes, the prosecutor's office isn't filled with fools, you know. Naturally, we conduct full background checks on all of our witnesses. What did he say?
It looks like the kid knew.
He knew her true identity from the get-go.
No way, but then why? If he hadn't revealed her secret, he wasn't going to say anything about it. All he wanted her to do was testify. So, he made a little trade. Let me introduce you. The victim's youngest sister, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
But... I thought she died 5 years ago.
I thought so as well. But, as well as you can see... Why? Why did you hide her identity for 5 years? That has nothing to do with the current case. She was merely an accidental witness to a crime.
Objection!
Accidental? I don't believe that for a minute. For the last 5 years, she's been playing the role of victim. But now we find her acting suspiciously at the scene of the murder.
Objection!
Really, Miss Faye? I must say, your strategy here is painfully obvious. You're trying to pin your client's crime on the witness, correct? At any cost. How dare you? Please, let us take a moment to think. 5 years ago, this girl was kidnapped and nearly killed. But even worse than that, 5 years later, Dahlia Hawthorne lost something much more precious, her big sister. Miss Faye must be insane to even suggest that she murdered her. I'm inclined to agree with the prosecutor's logic. Miss Faye, do you have any evidence to back up your assertion? What possible reason would this witness have for killing her beloved sister? The diamond. Well, you see, I thought I was winning, but somehow he's turned it around on me. I think you need a little push in the right direction, kitten. The defense is prepared to present evidence supporting our claim. Yep, the victim's note or the diamond. That wasn't me. It was this guy, this crazy coffee addict with weird hair that would look a lot better if it was white.
Objection!
Uh-oh. I think we've had enough empty threats from you, old man. What makes you think they're empty, boy? Because your protege looks like she's sweating bullets. I am sweating bullets. You think you're in a tough spot, huh? Of course, aren't I? No. You've just arrived at the moment of truth, that's all. Whether you win or lose, that's up to you. Up to me? The rashness of youth, how charming. This is coming from someone younger than me.
Now then, let's not waste any more time. Miss Faye. What motive would this witness have had for murdering her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne?
Okay, so we have two options. It's either A, the diamond, or it's B, the note. Well, we haven't even established... Okay, this diamond has nothing to do with anything. Because, in this specific example, because the diamond isn't the reason she was gonna kill her. She already had the diamond. She's probably already sold it and gotten the money. But this is why she was going to kill her, because her sister got cold feet. Oh, whoops. It's this. The story starts after Terry Fowles escaped. He called Valerie and told her he wanted to meet. This is the note she left. She says, talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time the whole truth must come out. Valerie Hawthorne gave Dahlia a warning. She told her she was going to reveal to the world the whole truth.
The whole truth? And nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, that's how you get people under oath. There was a dangerously important secret between Valerie and Dahlia. That's the reason Dahlia felt she had to kill Valerie. To keep her mouth shut permanently.
Objection!
A terrific story, Miss Faye. If you like fiction, that is. Enlighten the court, Miss Faye. What is this important secret? Where's your evidence? Dahlia and Valerie Hawthorne. Dahlia, Valerie Hawthorne, and Terry Fowles. There's only one important secret that connects them all. Oh yes, I know this secret. Your Honor, the defense would like to request further testimony.
What testimony?
Regarding the kidnapping 5 years ago, we believe it will explain a lot of things. Such as the important secret between the Hawthorne sisters.
Very well. I'll grant your request for further testimony. It'll be painful for you, but can you enlighten us one more time, my little maple leaf? I'm Canadian. You can tell by my thick Canadian accent. A boot. See? And instead of saying sorry, I say sorry. Oh crap, I said sorry instead of sorry. How did they say? Oh, I'm sorry, eh? Sorry. I'm sorry, eh? I'm sorry. Sorry. It's like Surrey. They say like Surrey. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what it is. What was I doing? Oh yeah, a video game.
Yes, I'll try, Mr. Judge. Putting on the old charm one more time, eh, Dahlia? But this will be the last time you hide behind your womanly wiles.
"5 years ago.
5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Fowles. The ransom price was a raw diamond. My sister Valerie brought it to the bridge. After she made the exchange, she shot Mr. Fowles in the arm. That's when Mr. Fowles tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind. I survived, but I was afraid I might be kidnapped again for my family's money. So I decided to change my identity and start a new life.
The kidnapping left her emotionally scarred. With her sister's help, she left the Hawthorne family and started all over again. And we're to believe, after all that, she murdered her sister? Preposterous. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Faye.
Yes, Your Honor.
As you've heard, the witness is still traumatized from the kidnapping. I'll ask you again to be very gentle in your cross-examination.
Mr. Edgeworth got the jump on me.
If we're not allowed to fight, then let's twist some arms. Listen up. We've still got that info. That ace up our sleeve.
What info?
Come on, kitten. Don't say you've forgotten already. The fact that the kidnapping 5 years ago was staged.
That's right. It was a fake kidnapping. Terry Fowles told us in that lobby.
I do anything she says. Anything Dahlia says.
What you're saying is that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by...
Yeah, me, Dahlia, and Valerie too.
Yes, that's it. The fake kidnapping. It's our best shot. Come on, Mia. That's her secret.
5 years ago. Well... the ransom price was a raw diamond.
I heard the diamond is valued in the neighborhood of $2 million.
$2 million?
It was still uncut, so it was about the size of a pint of milk.
A $2 million pint of milk? I don't know what to think of that.
The defendant demanded that her sister Valerie make the exchange.
Not as a detective, of course, but as an individual.
By the way, I want to ask you, Mr. Edgeworth, why do you think he wanted to make the exchange up there on that mountain? If he ever got surrounded, it would be hard to escape. There's one thing a kidnapper wants to prevent, and that's police involvement. In a place like that, it would be easy to tell if he was being followed. With only one entrance to the mountain, he was ensuring his safety. What a wickedly clever man Mr. Fowles is. Yeah, right. It was all your plan. Anyway, Valerie brought the diamond to the mountain and...
After that, she exchanged the shot for Mr. Fowles. We don't really have any evidence that pertains to that night, except for the diamond. I guess we have the map, that would pertain.
So these two are really the only evidence we have that pertains to what we're talking about right now. And I guess maybe the victims know.
After she made the exchange, that was a dangerous thing to do, considering you were being held hostage. Yes, but actually that saved my life.
What do you mean?
You see, Mr. Fowles was holding a knife in his hand. Somehow I just knew he was going to use it.
Wait a minute. This art is drawn wrong.
I knew he was going to use that knife to kill me. Shit fuck. That's why my sister shot him. It was to save me.
That's when Mr. Fowles tried to... That's why the art was wrong. There was no water below her.
I'd like to hear more about what happened right at that moment. Well, when Mr. Fowles was shot in the right arm, he let go of me.
Yeah, see? She would have hit a rock. Ah, well, we can forgive the artists.
I was dazed. I turned to try and run away, but Mr. Fowles turned and grabbed me as well. As I ran past, and I locked eyes for a second, and he gave me a large bloodthirsty grin.
Bloodthirsty? Who?
And in the next instant, I went fall.
I advise the court to remember that the river is 18 feet deep and incredibly swift.
I was a strong swimmer, but I was knocked out. When I came to, I had been carried away by the river to a strange place. Oh, what place? I'll never forget that day. The crumbling bridge, nowhere to run. Then just one little shove from above, and that was it. Before my sister could catch me, I fell into the river. I survived, but I was afraid I might be kidnapped again.
Strong, rich bones? I mean, it's possible. Dahlia went down the hole. 10 points if you get that reference. I don't get the reference.
I don't know what to press here.
Okay. I have a theory, and it's a little strange. So I don't know if you guys realize this, but in the last episode or so, I encountered something else that I viewed as an artist malfunction. But then it turned out to be important. So because of that, maybe we should press this? Just based on nothing more than that? I don't know, I'll save and reload if I have to. But it could just straight up be this.
Objection!
Hey! See, always trust the artists, my friends. Always trust the artists.
You say that Mr. Fowles pushed you into the Eagle River. However, that's hard to believe. But it's true. I felt a push on my back. I'm certain of it. It was Mr. Fowles. I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't clear enough. I shouldn't have said that's hard to believe. I should have said that's fucking impossible. Right? Impossible?
I accidentally gave them both the same voice there.
I asked that the court recall the condition of Dusky Bridge now and 5 years ago. The bridge hasn't changed one bit since in these last 5 years. If someone had pushed you off from behind, as you claimed, instead of being carried away by the river, you would have been smashed by the bedrock below. A most certain death. Do you understand now, Dahlia? The very notion that my client pushed you from behind is impossible. Your Honor, this event occurred 5 years ago. Why, for all we know, the water level in the river may have been even higher back then. But it's a 40-foot drop from the bridge to the river. A small change in the water level wouldn't have made a difference.
You're right. If the events occurred just as the witnesses testified, then the defendant couldn't have pushed the witness into the river. Young lady, what is the meaning of this?
You see,
Just a moment, Your Honor.
It's true that the witness testified that the defendant pushed her into the river. However, she never stated that she fell from the back end of the bridge. What do you mean? After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Falls panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge.
If that's true, she would have fallen into the river. Well, Miss Hawthorne, is what Mr. Edgeworth is saying correct?
Now that you mention it, I do remember when I fell off the bridge. My skirt got caught on the bridge sidewires. No, you can't be serious.
Order in the court.
It seems Miss Faye's assault has finally come to a conclusion.
Objection!
Not now, Mia. There is no time to retreat. Unfortunately for you, this is just the start of Miss Faye's assault.
What?
I believe your reasoning went something like this, Mr. Edgeworth. After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Fowles panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. My impression of you is spot on. However, once again, I'm forced to say that's impossible.
Ridiculous. What's so impossible?
Although it was a pretty good impression. Because your flawed logic contradicts this.
Well, it can't be any of these.
It's not the diamond. It's not this. So it has to be one of the... It has to be one of these. We've determined the only things that work during this case are the map and the diamond. So it has to be one of these things. College student, dubbed a genius as soon as he came in. Valerie's younger sis, victim of kidnap/murder, fell from the bridge, no money found. My client sentenced to death 5 years ago, escaped from custody 2 days ago. It has to be the diamond. Or, wait. So conflicted. Okay, this isn't applicable. And oh, this is it. The things are too high.
Your Honor, all of the answers are right here in this photo. Take a look at the wires supporting both sides of the bridge.
They extend up to about 5 feet off the ground.
It would have been impossible to push someone off from there. But let's remember the size and strength of the defendant.
Wires like this wouldn't have been a problem for him. He could have easily picked up a 14-year-old girl and thrown her over. He was shot, dude!
So young and already so forgetful, Mr. Edgeware. Mr. Fowles had been shot in the right arm.
And more importantly,
Valerie Hawthorne had her gun trained on him at point-blank range.
ugh!
So Mr. Fowles throwing the witness off the bridge was clearly impossible.
Order! What is the meaning of this?
Dahlia Hawthorne, you jumped into Eagle River intentionally.
What is this? Wait, that sounded like a growl. Was that Tigre? Is Tigre here? Indeed. What do you mean by such a ridiculous remark?
Yes, it is ridiculous. My sister was there to help me. She had her gun and handcuffs. She could have saved me. Jumping into a raging river like that would have been suicide.
Objection!
Perhaps, but still, that's exactly what you did. You were probably confident that you could handle the swift current, but even more so, the witness had a much more compelling reason for jumping into the river.
The diamond. Oh, then what is it? What was so important that she'd want to jump into a river?
The witness is still alive. This fact alone explains everything. She risked her life for the diamond, and now we are
Out of evidence. So I really hope it's almost over, because after this, we're done. We're out of evidence.
Take that!
All we have left are the profiles, and when I was reading through them, none of them looked useful.
5 years ago, something else disappeared along with Dahlia that day. The item that Valerie brought up the mountain with her. The $2 million diamond. Shit, fuck. Ah! No, it can't be! Yes, Dahlia had it all planned from the beginning.
Yes. Sorry, Bizarro has stolen my heart yet again. Bizarro comments, yeah, Tigre and Old Bag were part of the jury. Everyone's involved in here, man. Larry Butts is a child playing in the background. Mia is outside. Maya is outside waiting at Mia's car. Professor Grossberg is in the bathroom touching a mahogany table while dealing with hemorrhoids. It's a whole thing. Whole thing. A young Mr. Armstrong is making out with the bailiff. Everyone's here. Like Smash Bros.
The $2 million The $2 million, she was going to keep it all for herself.
I guess you could say that this time, diamonds weren't a girl's best friend. Yeah!
Thank you, Bizarro, for that joke.
She forced Mr. Fowles to help her fake the kidnapping. Ben! At the last minute, she betrayed him and threw herself into the river, with the ransom tucked away safely in her backpack.
Wait, that's simply ridiculous. Order!
Your Honor, 5 years ago, the witness was only a 14-year-old girl. Do you really think a 14-year-old is capable of such a demonic plan? This woman is a demon. And there was one more person who helped make a demon out of her. Her sister, Valerie Hawthorne.
You mean the victim was involved in the kidnapping plot as well?
Objection!
But she was a detective then.
You're saying she participated in her sister's kidnapping?
Precisely. I'm sure it weighed heavily on her conscience for the past 5 days. This is the sole reason behind the victim's murder.
What do you mean by that?
On the day of the murder, after receiving the phone call from Mr. Fowles, Valerie called her sister Dahlia. And then she told her what she was planning to do.
Planning to do?
She was going to tell the whole truth, as she wrote it in her note. That is what sealed Valerie Hawthorne's fate. That is when you hatched your demonic plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. A plan that would ensure neither of your accomplices to the kidnapping would ever talk. And that is why you killed your sister, Valerie Hawthorne.
Well, fuck! Who's laughing at a time like this?
Sorry, someone is saying they want to call, and I'm gonna say don't call, I'm streaming.
Now we see her true self.
Forgive me, it's just hilarious.
Witness? Is that you?
You amuse me, woman. Miss Mia Fey.
Shitfuck.
You can certainly weave an exciting tale. Naturally, you have the evidence to back it up, don't you?
Evidence?
Evidence that I planned the kidnapping, of course. That at 14, I plotted it with Mr. Fowles and my sister. Well, And one more thing. What happened to the $2 million diamond? If you can't provide evidence to at least show that.
Well, Miss Fey?
I don't know. What a joke. You, Miss Faye.
Are you stupid or something?
Arg! How can I prove a fake kidnapping that happened 5 years ago? I don't even have decisive proof of Valerie Hawthorne's murder.
Well, it seems that we've come to the end. To be honest, the witness's behavior does raise certain suspicions. However, I'm forced to reject the assertions made by the defense.
Of course you are. Is this it? Is it really over?
That girl has made a fool of me, and there's nothing I can do about it. Without evidence, the trial is over.
Who decided that?
Mr. Armando?
Mr. Armando?
Come on now, kitten. Haven't you figured out that you can make your own rules? For example, even if there's no evidence, that there's still testimony. Testimony? On the day in question, Dahlia Hawthorne murdered her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. She hid her body in the trunk of Mr. Fowle's stolen car, and then went to meet with him. Disguised as her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. That's what you think, right? Yes, that's right. In that case, there's only one answer, right? There's only one person left who can testify about Valerie Hawthorne's murder. Since there's no proof, there's only one thing left to do. Who is the one person that can testify to that demon's crimes?
Well, yeah, Terry. He's the only one left.
Your Honor, the defense wishes to call a new witness.
A new witness?
Yes. We would like to hear the testimony of Terry Fowles. The defendant? There's only one person that can shed any further light on the situation. Only one person that knows what Dahlia's role in the kidnapping was. Only one person that can say whether the person in the photo is Valerie Hawthorne, or whether it was in fact her younger sister, Dahlia, disguised as her. There's only one person who can solve this riddle once and for all. And that person is Terry Fowles.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what is your take on this?
Shit. Why not? The prosecution has no objection.
Very well. Bailiff, bring the defendant to the witness stand.
This is my last chance. My last chance to establish Dahlia's guilt. You're all I have left.
Defendant, you've heard everything that's been said up to this point, yes?
Yes. I don't believe it. No way. Dahlia died 5 years ago. Valerie betrayed me. Mr. Fowles, I don't know what she said to you 5 years ago, but one thing is clear. Dahlia is very much alive, and you were used for $2 million. That's not true.
Mr. Fowles, there's one question I want you to answer. Why are you chewing on that ball? It's made of stone. You're gonna break your teeth. Also, I have another question. 2 days ago, on Dusky Bridge, who did you meet? Was it Valerie Hawthorne or Dahlia Hawthorne? Dahlia, did you betray me? 5 years ago, she promised. She promised never ever betray each other.
Terry?
Dahlia? It's true. It's true, you're alive.
You don't trust me anymore. That makes me sad.
Tell the truth. Tell the real truth. I believed you.
I shouldn't need to say it. You should already know.
Shit fuck.
But there is one thing that I will say. My life is in your hands right now, Terry.
Dahlia. I will allow Mr. Fowles to testify once and only once. Well then, Mr. Fowles, yours will be the final testimony in this trial. Hey, I'm sorry, I apologize. Water, please, water.
Huh?
Can't talk, need water.
What?
Oh well, I guess it'll have to be my coffee instead. At least it'll match the way he's...
At least it will match the way he's probably feeling right now. Darker and bitterer than hell itself.
He said the thing, everybody. We can go home. Who Terry Fowles saw. That day at 4 p.m., I stopped the car. I was in front of the bridge. She wasn't there, so I waited on the bridge. I watched my car from the bridge. I never put up nobody in that car. Finally, no woman came. She stood in front of me. One woman came, she stood in front of me. We talked, then she left. That was Valerie. Not my Delilah. Dahlia, actually.
Mr. Fowles, you're covering for her. Do you think she would do the same for you?
That's enough, Miss Faye.
His last statement was a fitting way to end the trial.
Shit. Well then, Miss Faye, please proceed with your cross-examination.
Is this how you want it? To end it like this, Mr. Fowles? Another guilty verdict to go with your death sentence? Poor boy. There's only one person who can stop it. You, kitten. I think.
Who Terry Fowles saw. Well, that day at 4 p.m. I was stopped at the car in front of the bridge.
Hold it!
According to the note, the meeting was supposed to take place at 4:30. You certainly arrived early, didn't you?
It was raining. Already dark, too.
You waited on the bridge for 30 minutes?
Shit. Oh, he's lying.
Mr. Fowles?
Eagle Mountain. That spot strong. Strong memories.
Why did he just clam up? Could it be he's hiding something here?
I don't think he was there first. She wasn't there, so I waited on the bridge. Here we go, guys.
Objection!
So when you got to the bridge, no one had arrived, huh?
But unfortunately for you, you're also claiming in your testimony that she was standing in the end where she would have fallen through the hole if she tried to escape. We established that earlier. Even though it was brought up that maybe the hole wasn't there yet, she would have had to get there first in order to be on that part of the bridge. And that photo confirms it. Because if you all have a look at the photo, it shows which end she's standing on.
So when you got to the bridge, no one had arrived, huh? So you waited on the bridge. You're sure of that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're sure, huh? Well then I'm sure too, Mr. Fowles. I'm sure that you're lying.
What? What?
Oh, I would love to hear your rationale on this one, Miss Faye. You want to know who arrived at the bridge first? Just look at this photo. It's perfectly clear. Obviously, the person that came first would be on the end of the bridge, right?
But the victim's at the end of the bridge.
Oh, I keep fucking up the voices this time.
Precisely my point. In other words, Mr. Fowles, you must have arrived at the bridge after she did. Huh? Mr. Fowles? Please, don't get so worked up. We just want the truth.
I got there around 4 o'clock. It's true.
Shit, fuck.
I had somewhere to go. A special place.
Did you go to this special place before you went to the bridge?
Yeah. It's an old temple, around 15 minutes from the bridge.
A temple? The channeling one Dahlia brought up earlier?
5 years ago, Dahlia, we promised each other. We swore we wouldn't betray each other. She brought a memento to represent our love.
A memento?
5 years ago, I hid it under the base of the tree. Oh, fuck me! It was a special oh, fuck me! Oh no. I don't think I fully put together that this is the case. Uh-oh. I think I kinda knew, but I kinda didn't know. This is what I went to get.
This little bottle on a necklace is your memento? It's quite charming, but it looks empty.
Oh no. Your Honor, you heard what my client said. He arrived at the scene at 4 o'clock. But he then left his car unattended and walked away. He was gone for approximately
Not only is she gonna get away with it, but if you recall, that bottle has poison in it.
With that much time, that's why he wanted the coffee. Dahlia Hawthorne could have easily hidden the body in the trunk of his car. No!
Indeed. There certainly was enough time for it.
I've got a chance. Mr. Fowles, there's no mistaking it. Huh? Mr. Fowles?
He poisoned himself.
Oh! Oh no!
Oh no!
That's enough, please.
Witness!
I promised her 5 years ago. If it ever happens that we can't trust each other no more, we're supposed to drink the bottle.
No! Stop the trial! Your Honor, we need a recess.
I was stupid.
couldn't keep promise. So I did it. I drank this.
No, we're so close, just a little more. I was going to prove your innocence.
No, don't want that. Don't trust self. Maybe kill again. Kill Sweet Dahlia again.
Mr. Fowles.
Mr. Mondo. Thanks for the coffee.
Mr. Fowles! And my first trial ended, suddenly and tragically. It ended with no winners, only losers. I ended up with a wound that cut so deep into my soul, I thought it'd never heal. I'm sure it was the same for the young prosecutor as well. But one person, the true criminal, Dahlia Hawthorne, she left the court with a secret smile on her demonically sweet face.
Unforgivable, that witch.
Mr. Armando.
We were so close to the truth. It was right there in front of us. You were just a little too soft, kitten.
It's my fault. It's all my fault that Mr. Fowles killed himself.
Don't cry, kitten. You're going to make my coffee all salty.
I knew it. I knew I wasn't cut out for this.
Shit. Mia.
And Godot is born, ladies and gents.
Shit, fuck. Don't you get it? You can't cry yet.
Oh, Jesus!
The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
Mr. Armando! He broke in his coffee! No matter how tough the case was, no matter how bitter the memories, they always fade over time. Then you file them away and eventually forget them.
I mean, he didn't drink the coffee, Bizarro. He did get rid of it.
1 year ago in this very same courthouse,
I myself got wrapped up in that case. Only after that did Dahlia Hawthorne get put on trials for her crimes.
the verdict that was ultimately handed down to her was guilty, of course. Naturally, when the verdict was read, she had a perfect angelic smile on her face. Well, no. It was finally all over, at least. What's that thing next to Phoenix's head? At least that's what I thought it was. Is he in a hospital? Unfortunately, I couldn't have been more wrong. That looks like an IV. It's been 5 years.
But now, something has happened that's made me remember all this. A brand new episode has been added. Bridge to Turnabout. The final episode in the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next episode, we begin our final chapter. And we'll be beginning that final chapter later today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being in my jury. And I ask you to come back and go with me on one final adventure. But until then, ciao.